The following audio broadcast is brought to you by
The Recovering Internet Kid.
Hello?
Pimpin' ain't dead, it just moves to the website.
Really, Rodney?
Today's topics are
The Rapture.
Social tension.
Propaganda warfare.
And Charlie Kirk.
presenting
Precious McCrae, a.k.a. Conscious Cray.
Haley Whaley.
Brother Moses.
Queen Marie.
Angel Chess.
TRAE Trey.
Ty C. Jones.
QT.
and your host, Eve.
I keep wondering, did most people even know who Charlie Kirk was before the assassination? And why do you think someone shot him?
I've seen Charlie Kirk a few times, actually. Charlie Kirk is an extremist, and like they said, a right-wingist. And he's so opinionated and feel like he's so morally acceptable in judging other people's life and talking about things that he have no true knowledge about, which is on his own perspective and opinions about things. And the fact he was killed by a white Zionist speaks volumes of how much hate is in those people for them to turn on black people like we had anything to do with that.
I had seen a few videos here and there, but like that's really about it. I was never really big into politics in the first place. Like, so I seen a lot of controversial things where he had made the comment along the lines of if standards were dropped and quotas needed to be made, like so many white people need to be on the NBA that the quality of game itself will drop. Same with like flight attendants and stuff like that. Which, I mean, it can be a yes or a no thing. So I was like, yeah, whatever, just move on to the next. And then as a Christian myself, a lot of Christian-based stuff pops up on my phone where he was talking about biblical verses and stuff like that as well.
I've seen him several times online within the past year making comments and some very ignorant quotes, debates with people. I really didn't know much about him until his assassination. Charles James Kirk, born October 14th, 1993. So he ironically born on the same day of George Floyd, who was murdered by the police. And Charlie Kirk is a strong hater of George Floyd. So it's not so ironic that, you know, he was born on the same day of the man that he obviously extremely dislikes. I heard a very rich man discovered him and invested millions into Turning Point. Now, I'm on a website called racism.org. This article is Race, Racism, and the Law. And it says Charlie Kirk, white supremacist, dead at 31. Charlie Kirk built himself into the face of a conservative youth movement behind the branding of patriotism and freedom. The record shows a pattern of rhetoric, organizational culture, and alliances that echo white supremacist and Christian nationalist ideologies. The Southern Poverty Law Center documented how TPUSA repeatedly framed immigrants, LGBTQ plus people, and racial justice advocates as existential threats to white Christian America. Warning followed that their families, religion, and entire way of life were under attack. Kirk was blunt and dismissive. He denied systematic racism, called white privilege a racist idea, and vilified critical race theory as dangerous indoctrination.
So, Trey, did you know of Charlie Kirk or know anything about Charlie Kirk before his assassination?
No, completely under my radar until he died.
So it just started popping up on your algorithm?
For the most part.
What did you learn about him?
What did I learn about him? Other than the fact that he was a racist, it's not much. Just a typical racist person with a wrong opinion. I know opinions can't be wrong, but proves me wrong on that. Just a bunch of stupid stuff that shouldn't have been said.
You got a lot of supporters, you know, and people that believe the things he's saying. the things that he stood for.
Yeah, they don't make it right though.
I haven't watched all of his videos. I'm not a fan, obviously. I've seen him in some videos, and I will say he always tries to approach a topic with respect where he can. And when he doesn't
Yeah.
understand, he hasn't been rude. Now, he said some things that are extremely fucking bigoted.
Yeah.
You know, he has some beliefs that are extremely
Yeah.
bigoted.
Mm.
Read some quotes by him specifically about marginalized communities that I'm specifically a part of,
Yeah.
like being gay. I don't
Yeah.
vibe with any of that. Do I have empathy for Charlie himself for dying? No, I don't. I think he had a lot of fucked up ideas, so no, I don't really care all that much that he's not here to share those anymore. However, I do think it's kind of fucked up for somebody to be assassinated in front of their whole family, in front of live television, in front of 1 million people. I don't think people deserve that. I don't think his family deserved that. Do I wish he'd be around so that maybe he'd change some of his views? Absolutely, because you can't change a person once they're dead.
Honestly, I heard the name because on Twitter, I would see his name in one of the trending topics, but did not know anything about him. I did unfortunately see the video of him getting assassinated.
This feels connected to other big moments like the Trump assassination attempt or even the killing of the healthcare CEO. Do you see a pattern? Is violence really spiking, or do we just see more of it online?
If you want me to be honest, yes and no. I say yes because I feel as though dude's death was just a reason to start violence. But I say no because violence is always been a thing.
It is going to happen. Gun violence is going to happen. And a lot of people just left it at that. And like, that's the cause of a Second Amendment. But if you think about it like this, how many felons a year get their hands on guns? That's illegal. If somebody wants a gun, they're going to get their hands on it regardless.
Look at the articles every year of a black man found hanging. This young brother was found not too long after the assassination. Kirk. Black men have continuously been found hanging throughout the years. I can't say that this young brother was hung because of Charlie or Charles Kirk. I don't know much about the background investigation on it. But is it possible? Of course it is. To answer your question, I think the assassination of him was definitely orchestrated. If you look at some of the analysis of his murder, you'll see even his closest men behind him doing baseball signals with their hands and arms, right? And right before his murder, the guy that's right behind him, I think he got black on with shade, he makes a movement, like when he touches his arm, and then boom, the Charles Kirk is shot.
Honestly, I do not feel like violence is spiking. I feel like the violence has always been around the same rate. It's just that now with technology, we are seeing it a lot more. It has always been happening.
How Trump is around here playing sides and getting in other people's business and got nothing to do with him, you can only prepare for the worst.
Is there a time when violence actually feels like the answer, or is it always just chaos?
I don't. I'll never think that violence is the answer to anything. I mean, we know a way for all that violence to stop, or not all of it, but a good amount. However, you have people who are so hard on this Second Amendment.
Right.
It's not the 1800s anymore. Things have changed.
I don't necessarily think violence is the answer, but backing down and not standing our ground is absolutely not an option as well.
Ultimately, I would say that violence is never the answer, no matter what. Sometimes even I would say, fuck that in certain situations. But most of these situations are going to deal with me of what I would have done. But ultimately, I would say that violence is never the way. There's always a way to solve some issue that doesn't require violence?
I don't always think violence is the answer, but I think that when you have a government run by fascist people, enough is enough and everybody's had enough and nothing's getting better. The rich just keep getting richer and then they just keep on throwing this stuff in our faces. I think sometimes maybe violence could be the answer in a certain way. I don't like killing and I don't support killing, but certain people that are not empathetic or compassionate towards the rest of the population, such as the billionaires and the rich, maybe it would be a better place if they were taken out. But that's just my hot take.
Americans are obsessed with violence, starting from a child with just simple things like cartoons and superheroes and video games. They already ingrained in us to be violent. You know what I'm saying? The best movies, the violent ones, right? America has an obsession with incarceration. We the so-called land of the free, but had the highest capita of prisoners in the world in our incarceration system, and it's only growing. It's a business off of it. America started off of a revolutionary war where men came to kill each other so that they could have their independence and their freedom here. America is established off of slavery, which was very violent, killing mothers, cutting babies out of their stomach, feeding their children to alligators, having orgies with black women, making our black women act like animals and just to breed so that they could have more slave labor. See, America is obsessed with violence. Football, all that stuff is violent. I think Americans can only do what they have been taught to do, which is to be violent. And not only violent, but they're ignorantly violent. Our Second Amendment right to bear arms is a white man's obsession. I truly believe we're going to start to see more armed movements, armed marches, white men, especially in the South, marching with rifles, automatic rifles. We're going to start seeing more of that in the upcoming months.
Everyone's always talking about the rapture, and it does feel like the end times sometimes. And if something big really went down, do you think it'd be more like World War III or a Civil War? And if there was a rapture, what do you think would actually happen? Are you ready for something like that?
First of all, what rapture did we have? It didn't happen. Some preacher said it was going to happen on a specific day. And I think it was preacher from South Africa, something like that. And a lot of people thought it was funny. A lot of Christians thought it was BS because, I'm a Christian. I was raised on the idea that no one knows when it's going to happen. So to put a date on it, I automatically didn't believe it. It's impossible to be prepared for it.
My husband made a comment, and I told him, you need to start every speech with this comment. It was so simple, yes, profound. I was like, you a genius. He said, you keep killing us, but we gonna keep reincarnate. That's deep when you think about it.
I'm a really big spiritual manifestation person, so I think what you think and what you accept in your reality is definitely what you put out there. I don't really like to think about the idea of a World War III, but a Civil War, I can definitely see that happening because most American people are stupid. They want something to fight against, but right now all the honkies and the rednecks are fighting against their better judgment and they're fighting against their own rights without even realizing it. So I think if there's anything to happen, a civil war. Oh, I always stay prepared for everything. And I'm not talking about no doomsday prepper or anything like that. And my standpoint, I am religious. I do believe in God. If it's my time to go, then it's my time to go. But at the end of the day, I will protect me and my family at all costs. If you are a threat to me or my family, I will neutralize the threat. And that's just military training. That's the way my family stands on it. So how I've been raised. Now, does that mean that I cherish one's life over another? No, but my job as a man of the house and the father of two is to protect my family at all costs. That is my job. You never know, honestly, because if you read the Bible, if you just read, and I mean just read the book of Revelations, there's a lot of signs. Yeah. But if you go back and read the book of Matthews, nobody knows but God himself when the rapture is going to happen.
I prefer to be prepared and not be at all. If it don't happen until the day I die, I'll be perfectly fine knowing that I was prepared. If it don't nobody else outside of the circle need to know, because guess what? When she hit the fan, motherfucker ain't got no food, they ain't got no guns, they ain't got no bullets. Guess what? They gonna try to come. Ain't gonna happen because they ain't gonna know we got it. That's why you got to be on the safe side. People, they got purpose. They be on TikTok. They showing they stockpiles. Then later on, they showing the school their kid go to. Guess what? When she hit the fan, motherfucker already got them on the list. Okay. Well, I remember they was stockpiling. And I know they in this town right here. That's why I don't post on social media.
You might as well take each minute as you can. I mean, if it was something like we're about to get bombed, then yeah, I probably would prepare a little bit. But at the same time, I'd probably spend most of my time just trying to live my life as authentically as I can and do the things that maybe I won't have the chance to do. A huge problem is our media. Our media likes to fire us up, get us attached to these huge topics and get us talking, get us fighting with each other, having some kind of discourse. All of that just causes mass hysteria. When you prep doomsday things, especially because we live in a country that thrives off of capitalism, the more you incite people to freak out, the more that they're going to the stores, getting toilet paper, they're getting water, they're getting all those. So I think a big part of that too, because we kind of had the same issue going on in 2012, right? When people were like, the Mayan calendar ended and we all freaked out and we were like, oh, we're going to die the next day. But nothing happened. I'll do one even a little closer to home. Every time we have a hurricane now after Katrina, they make it sound like the hurricane is going to be so bad and we really need to hunker down or get out of here. And granted, some cases they are bad storms, but almost every single person here will be like, yeah, they named it like a category 4 and it really wasn't all that serious.
And we'll be outside on the porch.
Do you ever think about whether things could have gone differently, and do you think things will be different in the future?
I think they could be, but a lot of people are scared. And when people are scared, what are they going to do? They're going to lash out like a dog trapped in a corner, right? The only way that they see out is by violence. But to get out of that mindset, you have to put yourself in uncomfortable situations just in your day-to-day life. You got to be able to figure out and navigate within yourself. Okay, this is my comfort zone. I'm going to try to do something that's a little bit different and outside of my comfort zone so I can get used to that unsettling feeling without feeling like I have to lash out.
Yeah, I always think there can be change, and I'm going to be positive and think, it's going to be good change. I mean, not all of it's going to be good, but I think we can only move up from here.
I believe everything would have been different if Trump would have lost. I feel like any other candidate, Kamala, or anybody else who was running would have not made the decisions he made. From the moment he became president, a lot of stuff that nobody cared about was apparently an issue for him. And then that slowly went on to stuff that may affect somebody. I honestly feel like his whole agenda from the very beginning is, if you're not with me, you are against me. And that's basically what it looks like. When you do shit like that, you got a group of people who are with you who feel as though they're safe to do fucked up shit.